Welcome, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, to the Under Review podcast. I'm your host, Todd. Marty will not be with us, but we have another co-host that will be on right after this short introduction. A lot of great games inside the SEC. A lot of bad offensive games. Some games that were hard to watch. The interstate game of the week was probably one of the best matchups we had this week. Then we got another coach firing that we'll get to, and then the AP Top 25, all that and more on the Under Review podcast.
Welcome to the Under Review podcast, where Saturdays mean everything, rivalries run deep, and the SEC reigns supreme. Hosted by Todd and Marty, two die-hard fans breaking down every snap, storyline, and showdown across the Southeastern Conference. From the swamp to the plains, between the hedges to the bayou, no team is safe when it's under review. Now back to the action with Todd and Marty.
Like I said, no Marty this week, but Brandon has decided he could help us out a little bit today with a very special guest of his own.
Lorelei Riley.
All right. A little screen time for the baby. Ain't never heard nothing.
Tell him, baby. Say roll, Todd.
Hey, at least y'all can't lose on your bye week unless you're Auburn.
Exactly.
Which brings us into our first thing.
Hugh Freeze finally got fired.
Yeah.
I reported it 3 weeks ago.
Only 3 weeks ago. That's not bad if it's just not getting reported now.
You realize he hasn't won a back-to-back SEC game since he's been there?
Well, I don't like the move. I really don't. I mean, yeah, I get it. As Auburn fans are
Me neither. I wish they would have waited until after Vanderbilt. That way they could have lost to him 4 times.
Now you're getting into territory. I mean, yes, he did do some bad things. But his recruiting classes were amazing.
Diego Pavia 3 times.
His recruiting classes were amazing, though.
Yeah, and look what he did with it. Same thing with Brian Kelly. He squandered it.
And Jimbo Fisher. That is true. But I mean, if from what I'm
Brian
hearing,
Harston.
Brian Harston never could recruit anyway. So I think DJ Durkin will be.
Yeah, but he had a lot of talent when he got there.
Yeah, he did. Durkin is moving into the interim position. I think that's a great role for him. Having a good defensive-minded coach as your head coach really helps in all aspects of the game.
Are they going to try to offer Lane Kiffin also?
That's the word. But, I mean, if Durkin, say, was there 4 games left?
Yeah, 3, 4, yeah, 4.
Vandy, Mercer.
Vandy Mercer out 3.
Yeah, Vandy Mercer,
Alabama.
Yeah. He wins 2 of those. And I think they should keep him on. If he wins 2 of those games, I think he should stay on as head coach. Because Vandy's still ranked. You know, as this slide shows, Vandy's still ranked. Mercer's actually pretty good in the FCS, but, you know, still, they should win. And then Alabama's ranked top 5. He wins 2 of those games. I think he deserves the head coaching position.
Do you think they can win 2 of those games? Honestly?
See, that's the quarterback position. I don't know. Because I thought Ashton Daniels was the answer. And then he wasn't the answer. And then I don't know. At what point do you look for a quarterback? I mean,
go to the portal.
That kid from Alabama State.
Yeah.
But we'll talk more about Alabama State here in a little bit. The new AP Top 25 released for Week 11. No changes in the top 7. Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, Alabama, Georgia, Oregon, and Ole Miss. BYU jumps up to 8, Texas Tech to 9, and then Notre Dame at 10. I think Notre Dame will not be there next week because I think the Fighting Midshipman Siemens or whatever they're called will beat the brakes up for them. Hopefully. I just don't understand how they're that high. I really don't.
Seamen are enlisted. So in all seriousness here, should Ohio State still be ranked number 1?
Maybe. But who would be one? Texas A&M?
Indiana.
Did they play last night?
Yes.
I was at the ball fields till about 5:30 last night, and then I got home just in time for Auburn to kick off. So I'm very, out of it for any of the early games.
Yeah,
So
they won like 55-6 or something.
Who did they play? UAB?
They played. Let's see.
Maryland.
Top 25
to 10.
Maryland 55-10. Yep.
Okay.
When you have Ohio State who let Penn State play a good first half.
Yeah, I mean, I like Fernando Mendoza. I think he probably will be the runner-up in the Heisman to possibly Ty Simpson. I think that will be 1 and 2 as of right now. But
you know what's crazy is Ty Simpson's probably going to win the Heisman on consistency.
Yeah.
What's the? I'm an Alabama fan, but what's the Heisman moment?
There hasn't been one, and it could become against Auburn.
But my opinion though is he's probably the most accurate quarterback that's ever played at the University of Alabama. And if it wasn't for drop passes, he would probably have an over 80% completion rate.
No, I agree with you. He's very constant. It's like same thing with Ashton Jeanty last year. He was a very constant running back. And he had everything that he needed to do. Just Ashton Jeanty, yes, he fell short from a dual player. But I think Ty Simpson, like you said, after that FSU game, it's consistently great. I'll go great.
Yep.
Consistently great. Yep. There's some close games in there, yes, but he still led his team down the drive to score with minutes to go, and their defense held them. Yes, I understand.
It's like since he figured out, okay, when I check down from the third receiver and there's nobody there, I can run. He's been fantastic.
Right. I think he'll win it. I think him and Fern Mendoza, whatever his name is, Fernando Mendoza.
Fernandoza? Yeah, him, that kid.
Yeah. I think they'll be 1 and 2. And then we got Oklahoma 11, Virginia 12, Texas 13, Louisville 14, Vandy 15, Georgia Tech 16, Utah 17, Miami. Ring a bell here in a little bit with 18. Missouri at 19, USC at 20, Michigan 21. Memphis could be the G5 this year, 22. Tennessee at 23, Washington 24, and then Cincinnati at 25. It still throws me off with Memphis. They come back, they get beat by UAB, they come back, they beat South Florida, and then now they're back in.
Yeah, but that was the whole, we fired our coach, let's go win a game.
Hey,
it seems like it's been a theme recently.
That means we're going to beat Vandy, right? No? Okay.
Maybe.
Well, we're going to let's take us around the state real quick. So the teams we have for around the state: Sanford, South Alabama, Jack State, Alabama State, West Alabama, North Alabama, UAB, Alabama A&M, and Troy. It's okay, we just started. So throwing around the state here, Sanford, and a terrible game. If you watched the pre-show, this was one of the paint with pool noodles games. Sanford 16, Wofford 26. Another one.
Damn.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, I watched one of them.
And
you know which one it was.
Yeah, I watched 2 of these, actually.
Yeah, technically I did too, but one of them lost.
Yeah. North Alabama in overtime lost to Utah Tech in another noodle paint fight, 34-33. Jack State 21 over Middle Tennessee 24-21.
Good ball game.
It was. I watched that one Wednesday. That was a very good ball game.
It was no, walk-off field goal, but it was a good ball game.
Louisiana beat South Alabama 31-22. UConn dismantles UAB 38-19. Alabama State stays hot as they beat Prairie View A&M 31-28. Alabama A&M gets beat by Grambling 13-10, and then West Alabama loses their third straight game to Valdosta 45-35.
Yeah, what's going on with Scott Cochran?
I don't understand. I don't know if it was that postponed game that threw them off, and then they just haven't been the same since.
Yeah, they started off real strong.
Yeah, 5-0. Ranked inside the top 10. Oh, this just in. Michigan star running back Justice Haynes is set to undergo surgery today to repair a foot injury. Sucks for them.
That's a badge still on it. He'll be all right.
I like Justice Haynes too. But I think the best game here would have been... What happened? What happened?
I said, rub some badges still on it. And you said, I think he'll be all right.
Oh. I think the only warning trigger here is, besides Sanford and North Alabama, because they're straight hot dog water this year, I'm really upset about the Troy game. I thought
if you look at the conference, you saw that coming. Arkansas State has, but I follow that. So, yeah.
Yeah, they were there. They was actually third in their division, right behind Troy in the West or whatever it was. It was a good game. I watched half of it. I saw Troy score.
It's kind of funny watching the division this year. That whole division is beating up each other this year. It's kind of funny.
It's kind of like SEC, but like lower schools.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
And so the record's set, like I said, Sanford at 1-8, North Alabama and South Alabama at 2-7. South Alabama is now officially eliminated from a bowl game this year. That sucks.
Yep.
3-5 UAB, one more, and they'll be eliminated. 4-5 Alabama A&M, 5-3 West Alabama, 6-2 Alabama State, 6-3 Troy, and 5-3 JSU. JSU still needs one more win to get that bowl eligibility. They got a rough slate coming, but I think they can do it.
They're going to get one more.
It's just a matter of time. Really sad to see South Alabama sliding this year, though.
Who did Sanford beat?
Sanford beat, if you remember, Virginia Military Institute. I think you were on that.
I do remember. Okay, yep. VMI, yep.
Yeah, you were on that week. The cadets.
Yes. Then they can't spell cadet. Yep. I remember.
Yeah, that was the game that they won. So we're going to take this quick break and take a word from Tactical Home and Pest.
Hey, babe, we got ants.
Okay, kill them.
No, really, there's a lot of freaking ants.
Well, what do you want me to do? I ain't no expert.
Well, fine then. I'll call Tactical Home and Pest.
Go ahead and call Benjamin.
Hey there, this is Ben with Tactical Home and Pest, proud sponsor of Todd and Marty and their Under Review podcast. And can I just say that if the bugs I deal with had referees, I'd be called for targeting. Tactical Home and Pest, 256-592-2842, or visit me at tacticalhomeandpest.com.
Again, thank you, Benjamin, for all your pest control needs. Call Benjamin at Tactical Home and Pest.
And your tactical expertise.
Exactly. All right, we got two SEC games to go over before we get to the 5 games of the week. But for the bye weeks, we had LSU, A&M, Missouri, and Alabama. Any of these teams really need a bye week? Yes, LSU fired their head coach. during this
LSU
time.
absolutely. LSU needs 3 bye weeks in a row right now. They fired their head coach. They fired their athletic director. The governor is apparently hiring the head coach now.
That makes sense.
What a mess. What a mess.
Well, like you said earlier, the trend is you fire your coach, go on a bye week, win the next game. They play Alabama next. I think that trend stops.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had, Nussmeier, I had him pegged at the beginning of the season. I talked good about him, but he's just not, He's a good football ball player, but he's just not to that level, I don't think.
I mean, I said the same thing. I said if he can play like he's supposed to, he should win the Heisman.
Yeah.
But he kind of fell off, kind of like one of these other teams we're about to talk about in Arkansas. I don't know if you probably didn't get to watch this game, but this is one of the games that I was able to watch. Mississippi State 38, Arkansas 35.
I watched the last probably 5 minutes of it, and it was amazing.
That's all you needed to watch was this game was the last 5 minutes. Blake Shapen, 4th down, 4th and long, converting everything. It was what he needed to do.
Carved them up like a Thanksgiving turkey. Like, it was insane.
He led an amazing 2-minute drive for 5 minutes. It's the best I've ever seen. Mississippi State breaks a 16-game losing streak inside the SEC. Jeff Levy's first win inside the SEC as a SEC head coach. Big milestones here for Mississippi State. I think they should have more than one SEC win this season. They've came close in a lot of those games. Texas. I don't really remember.
They've been on the verge several times, and it's just haven't fallen their way.
Happy for them to they break that barrier and get past it. Glad it's against Arkansas. I really am. I don't really have a thing against Bobby Petrino. I just think Arkansas is the punching bag this year, and they need to take well advantage of it.
Look, Bobby Petrino's a horrible human being. Let's just be honest about it.
Well, it's what it is. And most people had this game as a close game, but Ole Miss beat South Carolina 30-14. I don't know what that logo is. Don't ask me. It just popped up.
Nah.
It's like a
South Carolina's a lot better than ever. That's like Jacksonville State 1968. But South Carolina's a lot better than everybody gives them credit for. Offensively, they're not great. Defensively, they've done well. And they did well as they could, but, you're playing against Lane Kiffin's offense. It is what it is.
That's one of the best offenses, I won't say in the league, but it's pretty close to in the SEC. Besides, I think behind Alabama, they have one of the A&M.
Correct. I don't know. I think it's between them and A&M. I put Alabama third.
I'm about to say if A&M
just because of Alabama's lack of a rushing.
Yeah, and that's
Alabama's lack of a consistent rushing attack is why I put them third.
When you have a running back that can, you have 3 to 4 guys that can run for 100 yards a game, any given game. That's pretty hard to stop for Texas A&M.
Yeah.
But we're getting here to a little word from Small Hand Chuck.
This episode of the Under Review podcast is brought to you by Chuck's Heating and Air. Chuck has over 40 years of service and experience with residential services. He services most makes and models. He is Alabama licensed, bonded, and insured, and locally owned and operated. Are you hot and you're supposed to be cool? Are you cool and you're supposed to be hot? Then you've got a problem. Call Chuck. Area code 256-892-2757. Again, 256-892-2757. Chuck's Heating and Air.
That's 256-892-2757. It's getting cold. You better call him. Now it's time to jump into the
He'll come warm you up in small hands.
Under Review podcast, 5 games of the week. There's a reason that these were the 5 games of the week. Arkansas, Mississippi State could have been up here, but we
didn't know how that game was going to turn out.
Right, didn't expect it to be that close, kind of like this game, and it wasn't that close until right there near the end. And that is the Vanderbilt Commodores travel to Austin, Texas, 31-34. Texas prevails.
Arch Manning shows up and plays the whole game, and Diego Pavia doesn't. That's the whole story of this game.
Well, okay, you say that, but at the end of the day, Pavia had more passing yards and the same amount of touchdowns and completed more passes.
Yep. And he had probably 80% of that on the last 3 drives he had.
Okay. This is probably one of the best passing attacks from Diego Pavia that I remember, because he probably gets average about a little bit more or less to about 250, about 2 passing touchdowns, and you're going to get more on the rushing side of him. Pavia only had 14 carries today, 14 carries, 1 touchdown, and 43 yards total.
Yep, but he had 365 through the air.
Yeah. 146 of those were to Eli Stowers.
I called that at the beginning of the season. I said, you've got to watch out for the tight ends in the SEC this year. And he was one of my picks.
Yeah. I mean,
for newcomer of the year.
Total yardage, Texas only beat them by 5 yards. Yep. 428 to 423. But what hurt was the turnover by Texas. Right? Did I get that right? I always get the turnovers mixed up on this.
I don't know. I'm trying to add up something else right now.
Yeah. Pavia fumbled is what it was. So turnover +1 for Texas. Texas also having 2 sacks this game really helped them out. They also...
Yeah. So 200...
Go ahead.
250 of Vandy's yards came with less than 10 minutes in the game.
Yeah, that makes more sense right there. Vandy was 2 for 2 on 4th down, 7 for 13 on 3rd downs, 31 minutes of possession to 29 minutes for Texas. It was right there at the end of the game, but like you said, if you didn't watch the 4th quarter, you would have thought that it was over. And then, boom, 21 points by Vanderbilt in the 4th quarter.
It was 34-10 at the end of the 3rd.
Yeah. I thought it was all over. And then I split back because I'm almost driving home and I see Texas is it's a 10-point game.
Yeah,
but
Texas didn't do anything in the 4th quarter either.
Nothing.
I don't know if it was they were on, Sarkisian said, hey, let's coach or what, but.
Oklahoma defeats Tennessee 33-27.
This game surprised me.
Really?
Yes. I thought, I thought that Oklahoma had been playing a little above the level that they were. Apparently I was wrong. And I thought Tennessee was a little better than they apparently were. But, I mean, it was a good ball game all the way through. It just ended up falling Oklahoma's way. Mateer was, around 60 some odd percent, 66%. Nothing spectacular. But Xavier Robinson had 115 yards receiving, 116 yards rushing.
Yeah.
And that was, their rushing attack and Mateer had 80 yards. And that's.
I think
those two together, it's going to be hard to.
If you're looking at the box score, the biggest thing is Deshaun Bishop only having 12 carries for 38 yards.
Yeah. And Aguilar can throw all day long, and it's not going to matter how many he puts up.
He almost threw for 400 yards this game. And 2 interceptions, that hurts as well.
Exactly. He also threw 2 picks.
Yeah. I think Star Thomas is a really good running back, the transfer from Troy, but he only had 10 yards for 5 rushes this game. But usually, they lead on Deshaun Bishop pretty heavily. So that Oklahoma defense really stood up this game. Kip Lewis, 10 tackles, half sack, 1.5 tackle for losses, 1 pass deflections.
They keep saying, in statistics also, we talked about it, Oklahoma's got one of statistically the best defenses in the country. And they keep proving it over and over again.
Yeah. Again, you talk about good defense. We'll talk about it in this next game coming up. But I think Oklahoma does have a really good defense as well. would you name them the number one defense inside the SEC?
Right now, this moment, no.
And that would
probably
be
number 2.
Behind.
Honestly, Kentucky.
Well, speaking of Kentucky, Kentucky walks into Jordan-Hare, and then what was absolutely a massacre of a game to watch. One of the hardest games ever I've had to watch. College, NFL, high school, even Pee Wee. I watched a lot of Pee Wee games this year. This one had to be by far the worst. 10-3, Kentucky gets the upset. Auburn was a 10-point favorite in this game. I don't know. I mean, Auburn's defense is good. I will say that. Auburn's defense is good.
Auburn is one of, I think, 3-4 teams in the country that has allowed less than 24 points in every game they've played. But
yeah,
they don't have a quarterback on the entire roster, it seems.
I like Cutter Bowley, though. He's a young guy. He needs to learn the system.
You can like him all he wants. He's not ready right now, and that's what matters.
Yeah, no, I get that. I think I agree with the same thing with Deuce Knight if Auburn tried to throw him out there. He's not ready, but he's getting playing time, though. He's getting real game playing time against SEC schools. And almost he threw 5 touchdowns against Tennessee last week. Almost threw over 300-something yards. 161 this week, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. But, I mean...
How much talent was Auburn supposed to have across their offensive front?
Auburn has 0 talent upon their offensive front.
Obviously. They gave up 7 sacks.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the 3rd game this year they gave up 7+ sacks.
You can't win a ball game doing that.
You really can't. And, I mean, I think the biggest thing here, and I just seen it, Auburn picks the ball off 3 minutes to go. Fagan's the true freshman corner. Great interception. And then he gets it poked out. I don't know if that would have been a turning point for Auburn, but it would have put the ball back in our hands with a little bit more time than what we had going into it.
Yeah. But I mean, either way, the Big Cats came away with a win. You know, that's who I picked.
It was a very hard game to watch, though. I mean, as an Auburn fan,
I mean, that goes back to like watching Alabama LSU back. What was it, 2000?
You talk about the 6-9 game.
Think. God almighty, that sucked.
I mean,
but at the same time, it was awesome because the defenses were that good.
Right. It wasn't that point, and the defenses were good here, but the offenses were just so much worse.
But that was to figure out which team was better. This was to figure out which team sucks more.
I agree with that. I think the best game probably to watch would have been that Auburn-Mississippi State 3-2 game, back when Tubb was still the coach. I'd hate to be there to watch it, though. 5
Soon
points.
to be governor,
Yeah.
apparently.
5 points out of the whole game to watch. Your under-review interstate game of the week is an ACC matchup that brought us Miami and SMU. And I called this one. SMU with the upset in overtime, 26-20. Marty had no faith in SMU, and I told him, I was like, SMU's only lost 2 games. You know, and there were close games inside the conference. So it wasn't like big blowouts. You know, there was close games. I was like, SMU's.
And SMU's one of those teams that when they're firing on all cylinders, they are very good.
This was also one of the games I really didn't get to watch because at 11 o'clock I was halfway through a football game announcing, so I wasn't really able to watch it. I caught 3 games yesterday. It was a lot. But, you know, it's...
But I think Miami did not prepare for this game. It was obvious.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think...
And SMU came out, and like I said, they were firing on all cylinders, and they're hard to deal with when they do.
Yeah, I think last year that's a good team. Kelvin Jenkins, you know, they were a playoff team last year. Again, that don't mean nothing going from year to year. But he still led SMU to a playoff last year. Has had a rough year this year trying to get them back on track. But knocks out Miami in this game. I think that knocks both of them out of the ACC contention. Pulling it up right now.
Yes.
But if I'm correct, it should. Because Virginia and that other team, Georgia Tech.
Also lost.
Yeah. Pittsburgh, the ones in the runnings are, they still have one loss. Duke, SMU, Louisville, Pittsburgh, and Georgia Tech all have one loss. Virginia sits top of the conference right now, 5-0 inside the conference. So it's a good battle. I don't think there will be a 2-loss ACC team in the conference to make it to the championship game. I think it will be a 1-loss team. I still predict Virginia and Georgia Tech to still play for that in North Carolina at the end of the season. But again, SMU still sneaking up right there.
If that's the matchup, give me Georgia Tech.
Well, I agree with that. I think Georgia Tech is a better team.
I'm going to ride with Haynes King until it's over.
No, I agree. I 100% agree with you. I think that's, and with a win, that pump them into the playoffs. I don't know what they would do, but it will be fun to see.
I mean, he's about ready to qualify for AARP discounts, but
he's getting there.
Yeah.
Now it's time for your Underview podcast. Game of the week. It was the world's largest cocktail party. Georgia beats Florida 24-20 in what was a close one.
And in what was another game that Georgia may have lost had they not paid the refs.
Yeah. I think this Georgia team is not as good as their record says.
They're not.
They should have 3 or 4 losses on the season already. Not counting the Alabama game.
Yep. Did you see what I sent last night about Stockton's granddad? So, come to find out, Gunnar Stockton's granddad died of a heart attack, unfortunately, in the parking lot of the 2010 World's Largest Cocktail Party after a loss to Florida in an overtime game.
I don't know where you get this stuff from, but I believe you 100%.
Wikipedia, Reddit, it's there.
It is.
You gotta go find it.
If you look hard enough, it's there. But
I'm gonna research something.
I think this game I don't think this was the best game of the week.
No, the best game of the week was that Mississippi State game.
I agree. But this was gave Georgia a real scare.
Yeah.
And I think if DJ Lagway, on the Florida perspective, their 2 true freshman wide receivers were down with injuries. VB the third and Dallas Wilson both got hurt that game. I think that really does hurt them in their chance to come back with DJ Lagway trying to connect with other receivers. And then the call at the end of the game was no catch. You could fight that either way.
The prison boss is out of the way.
Yeah.
So maybe they're having a little leeway on calling plays.
But did you see the play that I was talking about?
Which was that?
It was near the end of the game. It was he had one of his wide receivers open, and he went to catch it, and the ball went through his arms, and they thought it was a catch, but it bounced off the ground.
Yes.
I think it bounced off the ground. I don't think his arms are under it. Yes, it sucks, but I think that's the truth. As somebody that really doesn't like Georgia and wants them to lose every game and hope Iran beats them by 37, it wasn't a catch.
Iran does throw bombs. I understand Florida's frustration here. That they've had it rough for a few seasons now. Georgia's not as good as they are ranked, I don't think.
Right. I agree with that.
But at the same time, I think the playing field has been leveled for a lot of teams. There is finally parity.
I agree. I think you're right there.
It's going to be really hard going forward, I think, in the SEC to not have a team with 2 losses in the championship game.
No, you're right. And I mean, you get the rarities like, this year. Now, are we talking about 2 losses on your conference or on your record?
On your record.
Okay. I think this year would be the first one that you could, going now on, that you won't see one. Because I think your title game for the SEC championship, if Alabama doesn't lose, will be an undefeated A&M versus a 1-loss Alabama team.
Yep.
The only way I can see Alabama losing, if they're not losing this week, they're not losing to Northern, Eastern, Illinois, or whoever the piss they're playing in a couple weeks. And if they lose to Auburn, that would be the second loss. But I don't know if that happens, what the standings does look like after that. I would have to look at that. But I don't foresee that happening at this point as I did at the beginning of the season.
Yep. I just think, if you step back and look at everything, it's getting really close between every team.
Yeah.
Week to week, you are looking at, games that you wouldn't even think are supposed to be close, or, a 3-point game.
So before we jump off of here, who do you think the next coach is fired?
The next coach to get fired?
Not just in general. Because I've seen a lot of names.
Are we including coordinators?
No, because Shula did get fired today for South Carolina.
Yep. The next coach to get fired in the SEC.
No, not in the SEC. In football, in college football.
Oh, in college football.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to bring this variety out too.
I don't know if it's the next coach to be fired, but I will predict that Dabo Swinney will not be coaching at Clemson next year.
That's where I was going. I was going to say he's the next coach. I think they'll stay.
I don't know that he's the next, but I don't think he will be coaching Clemson in 2026.
Another big game like he did, I think he might be. Clemson don't lose to Duke. By no means. In football. Basketball, different story. Baseball, different story. Not in football. I think it's a bad loss. And
it's
they lose to another team like that.
Had you not refused to adopt NIL and the transfer portal, you wouldn't be where you're at today.
100% agree, Brian Harsin. Thank you. Before we get out of here, I want to thank everybody. I want to thank Dadpod. I want to thank God for bringing us here. I want to thank the Wise for letting us do what we got to do. I want to thank Dadpod, Hunter Brassfield, Nicholas Adams, Hayden Coker, HCS Media, live every Thursday, 7 p.m. from Buffalo Wild Wings at Pest City. Also, Brandon Trammell for joining us and being part of the creative team.
I got $10 for whoever goes up there and yells "Play Freebird" in the middle of his podcast.
Jud Dickinson and Cody Miller also.
I know he's going to be mad about it, but
it's still hilarious though. But also a little insight that we had come to us yesterday. This next weekend will be the championship for the Gridiron Football League, which is the league that Raglan and Glencoe and all these teams around here are playing. The Under Review podcast will be setting up and live streaming the junior and the senior championship games with commentary from me and Marty. It's not much, but we got the camera, we got a laptop, we got everything that we need to do, which this also is a stepping stone for maybe next year where we can live stream high school football games. So this is just a test run.
Knox is not happy.
No, he is not. But this is just a stepping stone for next year, and hopefully it goes good. We'll get more system and more boards set in place then afterwards. But it's going to be a trial run. So we're going to see how it works.
See what we need.
Right. Well, we got the camp. We don't need the board, but that's still coming. But we got the camera. We got the camera, and we got the stand coming in tomorrow. Actually, ordered it yesterday, and so when it gets here, I'm gonna try to set everything up and see what else I need. And we're gonna go from there. And hopefully, if y'all can jump on Saturday, and it's little league football. I mean, you gotta know them. They love you. I know Raglan plays in the junior game against Rainbow City and the Glencoe. I think Rainbow City as well in the senior game. But again, it's just a little trial run to hopefully for next year. Because I think if we can do that, we can live stream some high school football would be a joy for some people and others not.
They'll get over it.
We'll find out. But again, I appreciate you, Brandon, for jumping on at short notice when you had the baby and whatnot.
Absolutely, brother. It happens.
It does. But that's all we got to say. We'll see you next time when we go into review.